Now, the thing is, I've never had an internship, so I guess it's about time I put my degree to use. KSI and Logan Paul will be making millions. The ordinary person, I believe, doesn't really account for how many different income streams this fight opens up for these guys. Right, ladies and gents, this is the first time that I've made a video like this on my channel. Be nice, and I need to get to class now. Should go. Enjoy this video. I study economics and I make YouTube videos. Putting one and one together, this gives me the idea to make the economics of Logan Paul versus KSI 2. KSI versus Logan Paul 2 is by far the biggest event in YouTube history. It only takes one Google search and already over 13 million results in less than a second. A mega sporting event like this one has so much money involved. We've got to break it down. Fun fact, I'm actually doing my dissertation on mega sporting events. Last time there were over 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. This time it's even bigger. There's even more hype, more sponsorships, more money. So ladies and gents, today basically I'm going to be taking the economic concepts I've learned in class and basically applying them to the situation of KSI versus Logan Paul 2. Now, the thing is, I've never had an internship, so I guess it's about time I put my degree to use. In today's video, there's going to be several hidden Easter eggs throughout, so make sure you watch the whole thing, and we're going to be looking at the fundamental economics behind this event. Truly, how much money are these guys going to make? Millions. The answer has to be millions. First up, we need to look at why the first event was so successful. Now, if you know about investing, you know that there's a strategy where you invest in stocks and shares that's called the drip feed approach. Now, basically what this is instead of investing all of your money at once, you basically slowly invest it over time, and it's like a drip. Essentially, you're not entirely sure at the start if it's going to be a good idea to invest, so you do it slowly over time. Now, consider this. For the second fight, you're either in the boat of you're going to buy the fight or you're not. Much like you invest all or nothing into a company. However, in the first event, there was a huge success. People slowly drip fed into this, you know what, I am going to buy it because there's other YouTubers that I know, there's other YouTubers that I follow, and they are all taking part on the undercard, which meant people slowly drip fed into buying the pay-per-view. However, this time, there's no YouTubers on the undercard, meaning if you're not a fan of boxing, the likelihood is, if you don't want to spend £10 just for KSI Logan Paul, then you're not going to buy it. The fact that this year they've gone pro and there's no more YouTubers on the undercard, in my eyes, and I think in an economic perspective, it cancels out that drip feed approach where people over time are going to buy more and more. I think it would say there's not technically going to be as many as 1.2 million pay-per-view buys this time. But hey, I may be wrong. Now, another thing to remember is that in a nutshell, this fight is a monopoly. Now, if you don't know what a monopoly is, basically a monopoly lacks competition, so they essentially can charge any price they want to for a product or a service. So you might think, well, why don't they just charge £100 for the event? Well, then no one would watch it. So what they do, a monopolist basically sets price equal to the point where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. And that point, supposedly the profit maximization point. Now, taking Logan Paul versus KSI 2, there's two YouTubers with the biggest fan bases on YouTube, and they're having a boxing match. It's the only boxing match they're going to have for the rest of the year. No one else is rivaling this event. It's a monopoly. So what they do, they charge a price that would yield the most profit. So in this regard, the economics would say that this is how Sky Sports came up with this price. Basically, they know that they're the only one with the rights to stream this legally. They pay a very large fee to probably KSI Logan in order to be the monopoly supplier of this fight. I would guess so far that's how it works. And then they sit down, they choose a price, and they have to think, what is the consumer's willingness to pay to watch this fight? And they've come up with the figure of £9.95. And if 100,000 people watch the fight on Sky Box Office, that would make them £1 million. $9.95 is $12.87, which would yield $1.287 million. Also, Dan's is another exclusive subscription-based service that's going to be showing the fight. Once again, a big partnership there. And you have to think, Dan's must either be paying KSI and Logan Paul's team loads of money to get this exclusive rights to this fight on their service, or these guys get paid on a commission basis. Now, you can bet your money that if the streaming rights of this fight were given to much more people, Sky, BT, all of these other companies, then the price on Sky Box Office would be forced to go down due to the competition, and the price would be a lot cheaper. So the whole idea of this event being a monopoly event basically gives huge power and price control to the people involved in streaming it. So we've looked at the success of the first event, we've looked at the pricing of the second, and now it's time to look at the kind of hype bubble surrounding the second event. Now, currently I'm studying a module, Panics, Crashes and Bubbles, and this is basically a prime example of a bubble. I'll give you an economic example of a bubble. Basically, there was this thing back in, 1600s, I think it was, in Holland, tulip mania, and basically a tulip became worth more than a house due to a tulip bubble. More recently, there was a dot-com bubble, and basically the idea behind a bubble is that if you're buying and selling a good, other people see you're making a lot of profit, so they want to get in and buy the good to sell on. Over time, so many people enter the market and buy the good and are selling it on and making profits that the demand is so high, price is just going up and up and up. More and more people enter the market and enter the market and enter the market until the bubble just bursts and price comes crashing down along with kind of demand, I guess. The real success of this event is determined by the absolute hype bubble that has been created on YouTube by KSI, Logan Paul. And these two are at the center of this kind of hype bubble. So relating that kind of tulip mania bubble to KSI Logan Paul is pretty simple, except it's YouTubers seeing other YouTubers getting views, not people seeing other people making profits and entering the market, if you see what I mean. Basically, YouTubers see KSI and Logan Paul getting views from talking about boxing. The bigger YouTubers then make videos on KSI and Logan Paul, also to do with boxing. The smaller YouTubers then do the same thing because they see the medium and big YouTubers getting views on boxing. And this creates such a huge hype bubble around the event. And that hype bubble is very similar to the way that an asset bubbles. And obviously, bubbles eventually do pop. And at that point, price comes crashing down, demand comes crashing down. And after the fight happens, we'll see a huge burst in this bubble of KSI Logan Paul 2. The mainstream media a week after probably won't talk about it that much. The searches will go down, people will stop making videos on it, and essentially the bubble surrounding this fight is what's carrying it up to the greatest event in internet history of all time. There you go, we've looked at the success of the first event, we've looked at the pricing of the second, and we've looked at why the third will be so successful, all relating it to economics. There we go, ladies, yes. I'm literally missing a lecture right now to make this video, so if you could drop a like, that would be honestly appreciated. Subscribe down below, leave a like if you are enjoying this or you understand what I'm saying. There are obviously many other economic concepts that I could be talking about, but I thought I'd keep them relatively basic. Now, the reason why you're here is probably for how much money will KSI and Logan Paul make from this fight. The ordinary person, I believe, doesn't really account for how many different income streams this fight opens up for these guys. Logan Paul is on Snapchat, he's got his own Snapchat series, he's got clothing, he's making content around boxing, he's got sponsorships, he's got publicity from mainstream media. All of these side effects from this fight is going to be making him millions and millions of pounds. Now, on the more businessy side of things, there's ticket sales, there's payment from Dan's for being the Monopoly streamer, there's a payment from Sky Sports from being the Monopoly streamer. There's literally an unbelievable amount of revenue streams coming into these guys. I would love to see what their accounts look like. So revenue is just how much money is made, but profit is how much money you keep and put in your bank account and put in your pocket, essentially. Now, obviously, with such a big sporting event, KSI and Logan Paul will be making millions, but they'll also have a few million in costs. I mean, the training camp, the flights, they're flying the friends out, the food, the equipment, the paying people to sort everything out. The cost as well as in time. They're going to be training every day. They haven't been able to make as much content on YouTube because they're training all the time. Now, if you want me to guess how much money do I think KSI and Logan Paul in total will make from this fight, given all the extra content they've been able to produce, the clothing, the Snapchat stories, the events and the ticket sales, the sponsorships. They claimed after the last fight that they didn't make as much money as everybody thought. I think they said about 80 to 100k. This time, I reckon they're going to be making around the £1 million mark, if not more. Total revenue from this kind of event, in theory, total revenue, millions. I mean, it's got to be really random guesses. Basically, what I'm trying to say is there's so many different factors in this that people don't realize. The amount of extra revenue sources they have from this is incredible. The amount of extra costs is equally incredible, and time as a cost can't always be measured. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, leave a like. Let me know in the comments down below who you think is going to win this fight. Now, I want KSI to win because I've seen him in Nando's a few times, no joke. I've seen him in Sainsbury's. My friends have seen him in Sainsbury's after school. He's my guy. But Logan Paul is looking big. He is looking big. Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe, leave a like. Let's go.